Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar this morning. Again, my name is Courtney Austin, and I'm the Marketing Coordinator here at AIM. Today's webinar will be recorded, so everyone will be automatically muted so that we can get a quality recording to later post on our website. If you do have any questions throughout the duration of the webinar, please go ahead and type them into the question box, and we will go ahead and have a member of our marketing team call you up later and answer those individually. So with that, I will go ahead and hand it over to Nick so that we can get started today. Nick, take it away.
Thank you, Courtney, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This morning, we are going to go over the Mutual of Omaha LTC eApp. Every agent who sells Mutual of Omaha long-term care should be familiar with this eApp, and if you're not already comfortable using it, hopefully after today you will be. This is a great tool for agents who are selling remotely, either using screen share with your clients on the phone or if you're just communicating via email. With this eApp, you can sell to anyone, even to someone who lives across the country. With COVID and social distancing being a thing, eApps have really soared in popularity, and this great eApp is one of the easiest, simplest, and most intuitive apps out there. Another great way to use this eApp can also be in person. You take your laptop or tablet with you to a client's house and work on it together if you want. It's a great presentation tool as well. Another great thing about using this eApp rather than the old traditional paper app is that it basically will not let you continue if you have missed something or accidentally skipped over a part. Paper apps, it's easy to skip over a line, which will then have to be sent back to you. From there, you and your client will need to fix whatever was missing. Both have to re-sign. It's a headache and a huge delay. Going the eApp route will basically eliminate those types of holdups. It's not foolproof, which we will touch on later, but it definitely adds a layer of protection against such mistakes. So without further delay, let's get right to it. How to get to your eApp. You're going to log on to your Mutual of Omaha agent portal. Looks like this. Sales Professional Access. You go to Sales and Marketing. Hover over that tab, then over there you go to Electronic Applications. It'll take you to this page. This is going over most of their products. Today we're going to Long-Term Care eApp. So you will start or continue the eApp. Today we're going to use the sandbox, of course, and you can use the sandbox as well. It's a great tool, to practice on. If you're not too comfortable with doing that, from here we'll take you to this. You will start the application. Product is going to be long-term care. Commission code. Now this is important. This is a big one. You need to know and be sure of your commission code before you start. It's a big hassle if you enter the wrong one. So if you're not sure of your commission code, give us a call. We'll be able to give that to you. Client residential state. Today we're going to go Washington. From there you start the application, and it'll take you here. The personal worksheet. On this page, it is going to ask you premium information. Now, this information can be found on the quote you did, either using the Mutual of Omaha Mutual Care Solutions software, which is the one we use, and I'll drag that over real quick. So you're going to want to get the premium information from here. And throughout the application, you're going to want to match this to the letter. It's very important that what you enter today in the eApp matches your quote for a number of reasons, and we'll touch on that a little bit later on as well. So from here, we're going to premium information. You can do per month or per year. And another key part of this is that you enter the model information here and then at the end of the app as well as the same. So basically, we're going to go per year, which was the 1646.37. From there, you're going to scroll down. This disclosure statement, it's going to ask your client how they plan on paying for their long-term care. If you choose not to disclose this information, a company representative will then get a hold of your client and they'll discuss it further. But for today, we will answer the question. Drop-down menu here. How will you pay each year's premium? And this is, of course, when you start asking your clients questions on how they're going to do this. Annual income, we'll just say that. Increase. Will you buy inflation protection? Again, this is going to be going back to the quote that you did earlier. And on the quote that we did, we're choosing 3% inflation. And by the way, if you're not familiar with this quoting tool, we've done many a webinar on it. I believe Don Erickson just did one last week on the beneficial riders that we have, as well as this software. So if you're not familiar with this, if you don't have this, give us a call. We'll direct you on how to get it. It's a great, great tool. We actually helped create it for Mutual, so it's definitely something to use. It's the same one that we use every single day. So we're going to go 3% inflation. Will you buy inflation protection? Yes. What elimination period are you considering? Other. So the number of days of the elimination period that we're talking about, we're going to go the standard 90 days. The approximate cost, now this is a little, so this is basically how much 3 months, in this case, is going to cost you for long-term care. And in our case, we do $5,000 monthly. So basically, you can just times that monthly benefit by 3 months. How are you planning to pay for your care during the elimination period? From my income, from my savings, whatever the client's answer is what you'll put in, of course. Now this box must be checked. I acknowledge that the carrier and its producer has received this form with me, reviewed this form with me. Box must be checked. And today the producer is our very own Michael Anderson, just for illustration purposes. Individual long-term care insurance application. This is what we're going. There's various ones you can do. Today we're just going to keep it simple. We're just going to go single. This is when you enter your client's information. This, this is, people get hung up on this. It's last name first and then first name last. So it's a little confusing. We've had a couple apps be kicked back because someone entered it wrong. They did, last name was in their first name bar, and so you don't want to make that mistake. So last name first, first name last, legal resident address. It's all pretty self-explanatory, so you just let your client go over this. Social Security, date of birth. Do you have a valid driver's license? If you select yes, that's fine. If you do select no, it will ask you how come. So there are a couple of things that you can answer in this app that will produce drop-down menus. So that's something to consider. Also, same with this, citizenship. If you're a U.S. citizen, it's perfect. If you're a permanent resident, that's also fine. But you'll notice over here on the left-hand side, it's going to create a new tab, foreign travel. So if you're a permanent resident, it's going to create this foreign travel tab, and you will have to sign this, fill this out later on in the app. Again, to keep it simple, we will just say U.S. citizen, tab went away. Beneficiary, you don't have to enter this. If you have an ROP, you will have to enter that. From there, we'll go next. Allowances. This is going to ask, do you have a partner? If it's a yes, it will drop down some more information that you have to fill out. Again, we'll just say no today. Then we go next. Replacement coverage. Do you currently have another long-term care insurance policy in force? If you select yes, it will drop down and say, what's the company, what type of insurance, all that good stuff. So no. Did you have another long-term care insurance policy in the last 12 months? Nope. Do you intend to replace other long-term care coverage? Nope. Have you, the producer, sold any health insurance, including long-term care policies, to applicant A that are still in force or sold in the last 5 years? If yes, again, it's going to drop down a menu of what kind of insurance it was, when it was, that type of thing. So no. Have you ever been declined, rated, or denied reinstatement for long-term care insurance? Now, if you do say yes, it will ask you why, the company name, all that good stuff. So if you do say yes, you'll have to include a underwriting or an underwriter before you go this far. So getting declined for long-term care is not a good thing. It's not necessarily another decline, but you will have to jump through some hoops and you will have to get an underwriter to sign off on that. So no. And then we'll go next. Health insurance questions, insurability questions. These are going to be all no's. If you do click yes, do you currently use any of the following? Walker, wheelchair, oxygen. You click yes. We are unable to accept this application. Do not continue. So all of these are basically knockout questions. So we'll go no. Primary physician information and medication. For time purposes, I already filled this out. Again, this is just something your client will have to give you some information on, who their primary physician is, address, phone number, when was the last visit they had, why did they see their physician, last physical examination and blood work, and any medications. Then we'll go next. Additional health questions. Again, you'll just have to go through this with your client. Ideally, before you've gotten to this point, you will have asked these questions already, just in case they are knockout questions. You don't want to get this far with your client, having done the quote, getting them all excited for the coverage, and then it'll need to be knocked out right here. So ideally, you'll want to know this information before you start the application. In the last 5 years, have you been diagnosed with, treated, had testing for, or consulted with a medical professional for conditions or diagnosis not listed above? If you click yes, it's going to ask you what, when, where, what kind of disease, what kind of diagnosis, all that good stuff. So we'll keep that no. All this is your client's information. Medical health history. Have you been hospitalized and had surgery in the past 3 years? These are kind of questions that you'll want to discuss with your client. No. A lot of it's self-explanatory, so I'll just go through this here. Next. Now this is when we're going to get into the quote once again. It's going to ask you mutual care secure solutions or mutual care custom solutions. 99.9% of the time we're going to go custom. There is no real benefit to the secure solutions. It's much more dialed back. It's not as customizable. Bring this back over as the custom. This is the custom. It's going to give you all kinds of flexibility and customization that the secure won't. So, we really don't even use the secure anymore. So the custom is what we're going to be going off of today. Custom solutions. And again, you'll want to match the quote to the letter. Maximum monthly benefit per month. That's going to be the $5,000 that we spoke about earlier. Policy limit. We chose 150. Compound inflation protection benefit. Now this is the inflation we talked about. So if you click yes, it is I am selecting the 5% compound. That's fine if you're going 5%, but if no, like we are today, we're going 3%, so you'll say no. That'll drop down the menu of which inflation protection you're going with. We chose 3. Lifetime buy-up is default, unless you select one of these, and we are going lifetime, so we'll leave that alone. Non-forfeiture benefit, we'll just say no. And again, if you're not too familiar with these riders, we did a webinar last week going over them, so I definitely encourage you to watch that. Also, just give us a call and we can go over that with you as well. Calendar day elimination period, 90-day is default, so we'll leave that alone because that's what we chose. Waiver of elimination period, professional home health care benefit, partner benefits. Now, even though today we're going single, if you're doing a joint app or a double app, and your clients want the shared care benefit, it is very, very important that each benefit matches. So husband, wife, they have the exact same monthly benefit, the exact same policy limit, inflation term, all that stuff has to be identical to use the shared care benefit. That's one thing that hangs up agents a lot, is there's something that's different, and that will kick back the app. So be sure if you're doing a couple that they want their shared care benefit, that they're exact same policies. ROPs. From here we will go next. Protection against unintentional lapse. So this means if you are not paying or if your clients are not paying their bill, Mutual of Omaha will reach out to someone else to let them know, hey, the client's not paying their bill. You know, just it's a nice safeguard in case you're not home, you missed your bill in the mail, whatever. So you can designate a person to receive notice of lapse, then you will enter their information. It's a pretty cool safeguard. From here, we're getting down to the end of it here. So agreements and acknowledgments signed at, we will say Yakima, Washington. So this box here, this is also very important. Does the applicant request to fill out an authorization for release of information to my insurance agent and or agency? This allows that in the event of a decline, we here at AIM are allowed to know why your client was declined, and there's a possibility we can possibly go to bat for them, fight the ruling, and maybe get a second chance, depending, of course, on the reasoning. If this box is not checked and it's a decline, we're in the dark, our hands are kind of tied, and we can't do anything. The company will not let us know why they were declined, and we can't do anything. It's not technically required to move on. We can move on without it. But again, it's really, really helpful for us, for the agent, for the client, if we're allowed to kind of see what happened in the event of a decline. All this was completed accurately. And then we go next. Premium information, once again. Date policy is issued. And the model premium, this is again how we entered it in the very beginning. So we're going the yearly, the annual. And again, you want to match that. You want to match what we did at the beginning to right here, which is what we went annual. Perfect. Annual direct bill. If you do want to go monthly, make sure it's monthly throughout the whole application. But if you do want to go monthly, it's going to drop down this menu here for an EFT monthly draft. You'll want your bank name, routing number, bank account number, all that good stuff. But again, we're going annual, so we don't have to worry about that. Next, this is the HIPAA. Name used for medical records for your client. If it's different than in Section A, it's not, so we'll leave that alone. birth state, Washington. Next. I certify that each question was asked exactly as written and that we have recorded the answers completely and accurately. Yes. I certify that the application was completed in the physical presence of applicant. Now that's if they're right there with you. Yes, perfect. If not, you just click no. If, again, you're using a screen share, communicating, doing this over the phone or an email, you will click no. If no, explain. And then you can just say, whatever the reason is, social distancing, weather, we couldn't get to each other type of thing across the country. You would just explain why they are not in your presence, which is fine. So we'll say yes. Please indicate the underwriting risk classification quoted. We went select, which again is what we went on the app. Select is just a very standard, so we do 90% of the time. If you choose select on both the quote and the app, that's perfect, but after the phone interview that your client will get later on, if they're deemed preferred rating, that's even better. They'll get their premiums will be lower than what you guys thought, so that's perfect. A nice surprise. If, however, they get deemed class 1, class 2, the premiums will change, and that's a different story for a different time. But for today, we're just going to keep it select. To my knowledge, replacement of other insurance is not involved in this transaction. We scroll down here. Once again, here's the commission code. If you're not sure what yours is, please do call us and we'll let you know. Today it's AZ for us. Is there a second producer? You could do yes. If you have a partner, it's going to drop down this menu here. Today we're just saying no. And it is Michael Anderson is our producer's agent. He will get 100% of today's pretend app. There we go. Is there a contact person different than the producer listed above who can be contacted to answer questions regarding this app? If yes, fill that out. If no, we click next. Now you'll notice it took us back to the first screen here, the applicant information. It's complete, it's ready to sign. We did good, there's nothing missing. Again, you want to make sure what you entered is correct, but we completed it. So now we will request signatures. From here, you can view the app, you can edit the app if you needed to make any changes. We will request these signatures. John was the client today, so he will have the opportunity to sign. You can also email it to him, again, if he's remote. The applicant, you want them to always sign first. So that way you can, sign when it comes back. So we'll do that. We can show you what the applicant email looks like. Again, you just enter their email. They could be sitting at their computer at home. You enter their email. They'll get dinged. They'll get that email, and then they can sign it that way. Today we'll just say he's here. Important documents, you have to click on these and read these before you can continue. Just taking a second to load. Here we go. Now it is 143 pages, and this is at your client's discretion if he wants to read all this. By all means, very, very happy. Scroll down to the bottom. You can print, you can download it. We'll exit that. Now we'll do this one as well. Perfect. We read all that. Now that you open those, you are allowed to agree and continue and sign the app. So this is a cool feature they have. This is going over the full 22-page application. You can go next. Your client can read all these that you've gone over. This is everything that you just did. Or if he just wants to get to the signatures, you click next signature and it'll take you right to that. So page 3, it jumped. So you can just sign. Digitally signed by John. Next signature. Rather than go through all the app, you can just do it this way, sign. There we go. There it is. The last one for the client to sign. It's done, so now it says finished. From there, click that, it'll finish the app. Now it will be the agent's turn to sign. And it's the same thing, so you click on that. Same exact thing, it's going to take you to the next entire app you just did, so you click next signature. And then it's finished. And once you do that, it'll be submitted to back office, and it's perfect. It'll go to Kaylin here in new business, and you've done everything you can today. It's perfect. It's getting reviewed. Everything is going as it should, and that about wraps it up. If you have any questions, do feel free to give us a call. As always, the marketing team and myself will be reaching out to you later on this morning and afternoon for any feedback or questions you may have. If anything comes up in the meantime, we're always here to help. The number, of course, is 800-672-7202. And I want to thank everyone for their time this morning, and I hope you have a great rest of the day and a Happy New Year. Thanks, everyone.